In this video, this derelict barn is going to start coming back to life. We're going to start framing out our roof, start setting out for all of our stud work, extend our mezzanine floor, create the opening for a bespoke oak staircase. So far, this barn has undergone a serious amount of work. We have completely stripped this weather-damaged roof, revealing some very rotten oak rafters, meaning we've had to remove almost half of the original roof. But sadly, that wasn't all of the demolition works. Now we are finally making a start of putting this 200-year-old oak barn back together. First things first, me and Aaron are going to get on with installing this stud work. Right, so what we've got here is, this is a little downstairs bedroom here, but there's not really a lot of space for storage. So what we are going to be doing is creating a little recess in this stud wall, which is going to come into the main bedroom, 350 mil, 300 mil, I think. And then basically this, from this side, it's going to be used for shelving, for storage for all the kids' toys and stuff. And the opposite side, then the wardrobes will continue through and all be bespoke and built in nicely. 2, 1, 1, 3, centre. Right, and then we're going to leave 12.30 here. So we go 615 that side, there. And then we'll do a half lap there, timber there. Go 12.30 there. So what we're doing now is we've put a line from one end to the other so that we can get our sole plate nice and straight. You see we've got a slight gap there. So what we're going to do before we fix it, we'll push that out to the line, fix it, and then it should be straight as an arrow. What you can see me marking out here is the new doorway to the master bedroom. This is going to be a 2'6" door. We like to allow a 2'9" opening to our stud work to give us room for packing when installing our door linings. Now we're moving on to marking out the doorway for the new ensuite. Checking the plans with my scale ruler to make sure we're as close to the architect's drawings as possible. This 2'3" door now starts 850 mil from the external brickwork. Now we have all of our openings marked out, it's time to get these sole plates fixed down. Being mindful not to fix down in between the door openings.
So always when you film it, don't go in.
Yeah, I was just about to say, every time the camera goes on it, don't want to go in. Okay, so Aaron has fixed down the plate for this main bedroom. We have also marked out the main door for the bedroom is here, 2'6", and then you've got another door which is 2'3", which is going to come through in to the main bathroom / ensuite for that bedroom. Another thing, obviously the drainage was done by previous. This is the main wall for the kitchen, dividing the kitchen to the bathroom. So these are all concreted in, and as you can see, this soil stack is supposed to be up tight to this wall. Obviously we're quite far out, so we may have to do something with this, gun the floor up and try and move this over so it's tighter to the wall, and then we can box it in nicely inside the bathroom. So what you can see us doing here is stapling some DPC onto the bottom of our sole plates. Because we are fixing straight onto the concrete slab, this stops moisture creeping up into the wood and therefore extending the lifespan of the timber. So when installing our stud work on all of our sole plates and our header plates, we like to use half laps, which basically I believe it ties the stud work together a lot better than what it does when you just butt the two timbers together. So as you can see, we're running a skill saw through the timber multiple times, knocking off the excess timber, cleaning up with a hand plane and getting the joint nice and flat. So then we simply repeat this process on our sole plate using a skill saw, chisel and hand plane. So now that the half laps are done, we can now install our final sole plate which divides the stairwell to the ensuite. Right, so we've got all our sole plates down with our DPC stapled to the underside. Now what we're gonna do is crack on, we're chucking on a time lapse and crack on with the stud work up to the first floor height. But we have had difficulties because this barn is so far out of square, there is no governing point for us to sort of come off. So we've had to pick a happy medium. So we've come off of the front of their building with a parallel wall, which is for the utility and a downstairs toilet. And we've basically worked everything from that. As long as our stairwell is square and our shower in our master bathroom is all square, then we know that our shower tray is going to sit nicely and our staircase is going to sit nicely. So that's the main thing. Let's get cracking. So as day one draws to an end and we start to make some really good progress, it's full steam ahead into tomorrow. The big day where we finally put a roof back on this stunning oak barn. It's definitely not going to be easy. I just hope we can actually get it done. Right, so today we are joined by Toby and Johnsy, aka Sam. We are going to be starting installing this roof. So as you've seen and we've talked about before, it's not going to be straightforward. So we've got the boys in, we're going to rattle our heads together. We're going to start getting some cripples and that set, ready for our ridge. Stay tuned, let's get going. So first things first, we're going to get this tower set up to make sure that these boys can work safely and get up to the height that they need. Oh, I ain't tall enough.
I was just about to say. Okay, alright, tall enough. You got there before me though.
So after a lot of head scratching, throwing ideas back and forth and plenty of banter, we finally had a plan together to get cracking. So the plan was as follows. Once we agreed our finished ridge height, we was then able to work out the finished height for our cripple studs using a laser level. These cripples will take our new structural ridge, which means we can then start to work out all of our rafters. Right, so this gable which we're building off of this tie beam, so basically this had 150mm lean. So what we've done, we've cut the braces out of the way so that we can get this back upright, which basically we're going to put a plate through the bottom, which you can see there, which is going to be central. We're going to have a quadruple stud, which is going to go up and pick up our ridge beam to take the rest of the roof. Looking at this ridge line, it looks like it's been installed by someone that's had a few too many stellars. Obviously this is going to be a challenge, but there is nothing that we can't overcome. Okay, so today we have got Data Power Tools, one of our sponsors for this project. They are coming down to bring us a couple of goodies. So when they arrive, we will show you what they bring us, and whatever they do bring us is going to help with this project massively. So now we're going to install our 3 cripples, getting them braced up, making sure that they stay nice and plumb for when we install our ridge.
Add to me a bit more, touch more, a bit more, tiny bit more now. Yeah, that's it.
Did it pull in a little bit?
Yeah.
It did pull in?
Yeah.
So you think you're good?
Yeah, sweet.
Right, okay, so when I said cripple, this is what the cripple is. So basically the boys have just installed this, nice and plumb, both ways, and then they're gonna put another one in the middle and another one at the other end, and that is gonna pick up our ridge. So after a 4.5 hour journey down from Wales, the boys from Data Power Tools have finally arrived. Right, so today Data have turned up and I've heard that they've got a box of goodies for me. So I've brought this. I heard it's a saw, so hopefully it's going to fit in there.
Danny, I think you're going to need a bigger box, mate.
What is that? Jesus.
Should we, do you want to grab the handle? We'll get out.
It's a 2-man.
It's a 2-man lift.
Jesus. That is what you call a bit of kit. Look at that. Is that single battery as well? Single battery.
40-volt platform.
The size of it.
The size of the blade, you see. Be careful.
My God. You see my head through the bore? That is massive. What a bit of kit that is. What a bit of kit.
Like I said, 415mm blade down, single 40-volt battery, 158mm on a 90, 108 on a 45. I can't wait for you to use it on this project.
I'll tell you what we can do. I've got just the material. Let's get that out and we'll put it to the test. Okay, so it's my turn to try and put this beast to the test. So we've got some solid green oak here. This is 8x3, first time using it, so bear with me, but let's see how good the saw really is. Right then, let's put the saw to the test. that is like a knife through butter. So 8x3, let's find a bigger bit of wood and try that one. 8x6. This will really test its capability. Now that is one quality bit of kit. Beautifully and smooth, no wobble on that blade whatsoever. Literally, absolutely perfect. What a saw. Okay, so I want to thank Data for coming down today. This truly is a quality bit of kit and it is going to go to extreme use on all the oak work inside this barn. So if you do like what you've seen, obviously the Makita XGT range, it's one of the best platforms in my opinion. But if you'd like to go and have a closer look, go and check these boys out, datapowertools.co.uk. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure, Dan. Thanks so much, mate, for having us.
Whilst I've been playing with my new Makita toy, the boys have been busy installing the second cripple stud. Now it's time to get our ridge beam measured, cut and fixed into position. Aaron's now adjusting the original A-frame one last time just to make sure that everything is spot on before we fix anything together. Once again, more head scratching, trying to figure out what we are going to do with the new wall plate as the existing ring beam is far from straight. So the idea is for us to try and get our new plate as straight as we possibly can and our new rafters to run through nice and straight. Now it's time to start getting our first rafter cut. This process always takes a little bit of working out, but for our very first try, she's looking pretty good. And after a little bit of adjusting, we've got it.
Right, so pitching this roof into the barn, 50-degree existing roof. I mean, between 48 and 52 we're looking at. What we're trying to achieve here, me and Aaron, top and bottom, trying to come 25mm square above the existing rafters. So fast board, firmer board can come in flush, then allow us to put counter battens going up, and then normal battens for the roof going sideways. Got a major discrepancy in this oak truss though. So Aaron's 25mm square, and so am I down the bottom. What are we in the middle?
In the middle we got about 110.
So the existing's dropped, snapped around the purling. So we've got a Gable panel going in between. We're gonna have to try and wedge that up, try and get that back symmetrical to our new roof, make it all work. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. Fun and entertaining, to say the least. So we'll see if we have pull that one off. Regarding the roof, moving forward, what Db and the boys have done, been, pucker, we're all straight, we're kind of set out. We're symmetrical now on the new part of the roof, so tomorrow we should be flying. Prep work today though, all day by the looks of it, but we're getting there, we're getting there.
To try and fix the issue of this massively bowed roof, we decided to use an acro underneath the purlin to force this roof back up to its natural position. If you look closely, you can see the crack in the beam slowly closing.
About 75.
45 mil looks knackered. 45.
I've still got another 50mm to go. If you watch this time-lapse clip, you can actually see how the acro gets rid of the bow in this entire section of roof. End of day one on the new roof. Doesn't look like much progress has been made, but given how tricky this was, we've made some very good progress. Everything is in position and straight, ready for us to get in there and smash it out tomorrow. Okay, so right, you can see progress has been made. So yesterday we spent a bit of time getting everything prepped. As Toby explained, this roof tying into the existing wasn't straightforward, but we managed to get all our pats sorted. So today we are going to fly through, infill this section. We've set out for the V-Lux on the other side, and we're going to fly all these joists in and get the gables built up as well. So now that the boys have their patterns cut for both sides of the roof, it's time for them to get cracking, mark, cut, repeat, and so on. Whilst the rest of us have been busy, Aaron's been installing the new stud-work to our A-frame, but this may have to change. So you may have seen we have acros up here on the roof. We basically wound the old roof up until we get to a sensible discrepancy between our new roof and our old roof. So now we've built this gable, we can take these out. That, why we had to push the roof up, that was under a lot of pressure then. Right, so let's give you a little update on where we're at and why we've got this here and what we're going to be doing next. This is replacing the big oak struts that went across at the 45 from here to here. This is being infilled because the opposite side is the bathroom and you've got the gallery staircase on this side. So obviously didn't really want it open because it's a bathroom, so it's being infilled, and the braces that we took out of here, we're going to put the plasterboard on first, and then we're going to rip down the old braces in half and plant them on the front so it would mirror the opposite side. Okay, so this afternoon we're going to have a big push and get the remaining rafters installed, the end gable built with the windows in for both bedrooms, and we're going to take a look at starting to build the internal dividing wall with the 2 doorways into both bedrooms as well. So what you can see us doing here is stripping off the existing plywood which has been left open to all weathers. So the reason we're stripping this lot back is to try and see whether we can straighten up this bottom section of the existing roof to run in line with our gable end. Did you get that? Right on the lip. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Look, that's not fixed. Look, that's not fixed, Aaron. That wall, they haven't fixed to nothing. So obviously it's a good job that we are taking this off to make a better job, because we're actually seeing what's not fixed and what is. So now we know we've got a little bit more work to do just to add to the list. We need a little blade change. Out she comes. This is what I mean, you start opening things up, nothing's fixed.
20 minutes off our this infield on what will be on ladders.
You heard that? I'm going to put a timer on. He said, what was it, 15, 20 minutes? Timer's going on, real life. Watch this space, it's coming. 11:53, right, 20 minutes from now. Let's go, timer's on.
Dan, we can't talk to anyone right now, yeah? I'm distracted now.
The heat is on.
LSC ain't talking move right now. Stop for a cuppa. Yeah. Someone put the kettle on. I was going to say, keep my goods in, but there is knock inside. Oh no.
It's all right, there's no pressure here, no pressure. As long as the job's done.
It's got to be done right, isn't it?
Yes, mate, there's no pressure.
But yeah, we'll take the L. We'll take the L.
Okay, right, so we are now ready to set out our window sizes. So what we've got to be careful of in this gable is that we can get our doubles either side of the window, which isn't going to interfere with the scaling in the bedroom here. So we're just working these out. So we're going to go for an 800 high by 1200 wide window. So we're just going to set this out now and make sure we can get it all to work lovely. This is the first double going in underneath one of our windows. We get them nice and flush, try to. We get it good on one side. Right, and then this will go like so. First one in. More nice and flush, like to get it nice and flush on the inside. Obviously we've got weatherboarding and stuff on the outside, you can get over it, but with the plasterboard, like to get it nice and flush on the inside. David Bowie on it. Yeah, try that side. Beautiful. Okay, right, so in the previous episode, you would have seen us taking out this main beam, tie beam, which went across at this height, the laser height. We put that there to sort of show you. What we've been able to do now is create our window openings at a better height, because the beam was following through at this level. The window would have had to go below it, which is no good to nobody, or above, which is the same situation. So now this is out, we've managed to get the windows in a better position. We set them at 900 mil, so we don't have to have toughened glass in these, but we've got a nice size opening here, matching both bedrooms. Yeah, I think it works a lot better. So now we've got the windows formed and the openings there. Just waiting for the boys to put these last few rafters in, then we're going to get this gable in and really tie this lot together. Right, so that is the last of our rafters set at 400. So now what we're going to do is put a double on the end, flush with the outside of our gable. Then we can start infilling and getting all this tied in. Lovely. Right, so I've just been called off for the scaffold. We've had a special delivery. So another one of our sponsors for this barn build is Trend Technology. So what we're going to do is see what goodies we've been sent, because I'm sure whatever's in here is going to help us along the way. So a massive shout out to Trend for sending all of this gear out for us. So basically this is going to help us and everything we do inside this barn. So we've got sanding discs, we've got the stealth masks, we've got blades, hole saw blades, we've got, you name it, we've got it. So it's going to keep us busy, mate, isn't it? As you can see, we've had a brilliant few days here. So I just want to thank Toby, Sam and Ash. That's the one, Ash. So obviously these boys are mustard at what they do. So if you need any roofing work, any carpentry work, give Toby a shout at LAC Carpentry. We're almost there. A few little odds and sods to tidy up. But yeah, thank you very much, boys. So the last thing, we're going to jump onto the end gable and get this stud work fully infilled. So we've got new blade day today. We have cut a hell of a lot of timber using the other blades so far. So we're just setting up. Trend has sent us out some lovely new blades. We're gonna set both saws up. We're gonna get cracking. I just want to say a massive thank you to Trend, as we do tear through a lot of blades and the consumables. So a massive shout out to them and thank you. Okay, so you would have seen a few days ago, me and Aaron got the sole plates for all the bedrooms downstairs formed. Then, the last few days we've been very busy working on the roof, getting that pitched. But now the roof is all pitched, it's time for us to jump back on here, start putting our triples in for our staircase and finish off building these stud walls. So this morning we're going round tying up all of the small jobs that take time, installing our M12 carriage bolts to all of our double trimmers and getting all of our jiffy hangers fixed up in place. Then our next job is to jump back downstairs and start installing the ceiling joist to bedroom 2 and utility. Right, so as you've just seen, we've thrown all of the collars in. So we've put a temporary spike in one side, and we like to put a timber on the underside of this, nice and level, and then we just sit our collars down on top, and then now we can remove this and start installing all of our jiffy hangers. And we like to use this beast. This is an absolute time saver. So the PPN gun from Pazlo, literally fire, bang, bang, job's a good one. Aaron's gonna jump on that side and start putting all the bolts through the ceiling collars. And then that is this section of roof all complete. Okay, so as you can see, the majority of the stud work has now been formed. So where I am standing at the moment is the stairwell. So we've got a nice oak staircase which is going to come up, wind up to our triple, which is up there. This is going to be the doorway to the master bedroom. So to the right hand side here of the alcove, we are going to have fully bespoke wardrobes and an integrated dressing area there. Then what we've got is 3 large oak openings for the windows. The whole build is going to have oak windows throughout, double glazed. The spec is yet to be confirmed, but we'll keep you updated with that. Then what we've got, which is still undecided because of the way that the barn has worked out, everything is slightly decreased in size because of the way the barn is, how out of square it's been. We've had to make things work for doorways. So originally this was going to have 2 doorways. So you've got a doorway coming in from the master bedroom, so it's like an ensuite. Then you've got this doorway, which leads you back into the stairwell. But because of how things have got a lot smaller, we are now deciding whether to block this doorway up and just keep it as an ensuite for the master bedroom. So that does mean if they have guests in from this room, which we are yet to form this opening, but the doorway is going to be here, this will lead you to this spare room slash, yeah, I think it's going to be like a storage room. That is why we have this alcove here, basically a flush wall, and we're going to have a lot of storage and shelving units built in here. So lastly, what we've got is the last 2 rooms, the doorway for the utility area, utility slash boot room, stay there. And then this door is going to be for the downstairs toilet and a small little basin, but there's going to be a dividing wall put through here to gain more space. In here, we're going to reduce the size, the thickness of this wall. Okay, so essentially that means we've got 2 bedrooms, an ensuite, a stairwell, utility, and a WC. We've managed to cram quite a lot in a quite tight space. Right, okay, so today we are going to be installing the ceiling collars for the 2 bedrooms in here. So obviously we'd spoken with the client, we was unsure whether we was going to take the roof right to a point or bring the ceilings down lower so it made the bedrooms feel wider. So what they've come up with is 2.7 from the finished floor to the underside of the ceiling collars. So me and Aaron are going to get these smashed in and then we can build our dividing wall for the 2 bedrooms. Pardon you, Aaron. Okay, right, we get that base plate cut and then we get the header cut and then we get them all paralleled and plumbed up and then we can get cracking. Right, I'll jump up here. Use me special laser measurer. Literally 3263. It's got a slight bow in it, so could try and pull it into it as if you want to cut them the same. Right. So now we've got that temporary clamped up, what we can do is I can get my laser measurer and beat from the bottom plate to the top plate. Aaron can start cutting some uprights for this dividing stud wall.
Quite a way off that, isn't you?
Sorry?
You're quite a way off that. 25 million the timber on that.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. I lost one, haven't I? Yeah. So what we do now is set our 2 end ones in nice and plumb, and we can fix this plate, this upright, back to our cripples, which is behind it, which is picking up the centre of our ridge. So now that's right, I'll just put a cut of temporary pins in there. Oh, if I turn it on. Right, we go back this side. Now what we can do, set all of our uprights to work with our plasterboard. So every 400, 1200 centres, and then we can literally just infill this, put all our noggins in, and that is the 2 rooms divided. Right, so there's been a slight change of plan from the original drawings we were given. So it's tricky for you to see, but where I'm standing is where the stairwell is. And the whole point of this is to try and get as much light, and when you're looking from the kitchen, as you look up, it's all open. So what we've decided to do is we've got our cripple here, which is picking up the ridge, and from this cripple back this way, it is the bathroom. So this side of this is going to be plasterboarded, and then we're going to have some feature oaks planted on that side. But this side now, we're going to dismantle this half triangle section, and we're going to end up putting a oak 4x4 post from the ridge down to this solid oak beam here. Then what we're going to do is, because we kept the existing oak braces which come out, we are basically going to mortise and tenon that old brace which come out back in, so it mirrors either side when you see from downstairs in the kitchen. Okay, so it's time now to thank our sponsors for the Derelict Barn project. Without them, you guys wouldn't be able to watch what you're watching now. Our old mate Harry's arrived from Total Works. He's brought his digger, and by the looks of it, he swallowed a joke book for breakfast too.
See your bearded excavator driver? Useless. Me, Chavy, the one. The one. Connor the digger driver? Not no more. Me.
Right, so as you can see, UK Power Networks have dropped off their duct, which they want us to use in our new trench, which is going to be for the new mains power. So as you previously have seen, the power cable is coming into the barn, just swooping down from this main pylon. So what we've done is we're going to pull it back out into the green kiosk. So Harry's here now, Big Harry. He is going to be making this trench more of a swoop so it's not so tight, and then we've got to get their duct installed with, they want a pull cord put through the middle, and then we're going to put 2 more ducts in for us, one for the house and one for the garage. So Harry's going to change his bucket, get stuck in, and we'll catch you in a bit. Right, so UK Power Networks have supplied their ducting with no pull cord. So we've got to try and get a pull cord through this pipe from here down to Aaron down there. How are we going to do it? Turn the hoover on, Aaron. Right. All the way down. Keep going. Just to make sure it don't end up in the hoover. You can't be far off. Right. You there, Az? Yeehaw! Beautiful!
So with lay tape, this is called lay tape. With lay tape, you don't have to put a detective sand barrier above it. Because of the strength of the lay tape, you can't rip it, tear it, cut it. So you can now directly go straight dirt on top. So with correct digging, you should never have teeth on your bucket. Your non-tooth bucket will scrape away at that. You'll see it, detect it, stop digging, safe digging practices applied. Good afternoon, welcome to part 4. Today's episode of UKPN Power Network cables. As we can see, we've backfilled correctly the trench from the pylon into the kiosk. So this will be this duct in here. As UK Power Network's strict requirements are to have tile tape. So this is the hard stuff that you struggle to cut and get rid of. So it's a very tough material, you can't really apply it And then when it comes out of the LV into the kiosk, we'll come into the, we just tape round here, get it nice and secure. And then what we do, fold this out, get it nice and labelled so everyone can see what it is. And because this tape is easy to rip, as we show on this side, easy to rip, you need to have detection sand above this. So as you do safe digging practices, you'll get to the sand first, get to the tape, then do safe hand digging practices. Bosh.
Thank you, Harry.
For nice ease, to make sure that the tapes don't disperse and it is easily detectable, we'll do that. And then a nice, when you've got small holding like myself and you have chickens, then you know it's just a chicken feed. See? But as this kiosk, nice type 1 compacted, levelled off, as Big John would say, bosh.
After Harry had finished installing the ducts to the kiosk, we thought we'd put his demolition skills to the test and set him loose on stripping off the weather-damaged ply from the lean-to roof. Okay, so what we are dealing with today is going round. Let's start again. Wound.
We'll go wound.
You feel me, white wound, baby, white wound.
Shut up. Okay, so today we're going to be going around dealing with some of the issues that the previous builders have left us. So I will show you, they've started the oak work, but when we took this project on, it was boarded from this side, everything was covered. We've ripped it all off to start again because it got water damaged, but this is what we've got. So the uprights they've installed, nothing is fixed. As you can see there. So what we and Aaron are going to be doing today is taking all of these out, putting a mortise and tenon in the bottom, fixing them properly into the sole plate, and to install a new beam above.
So the reason we didn't finish this oak stud work last week is because we was waiting for a delivery of our nice big shiny new saw so that we could do the rebates in the oak for the window reveals.
Meter spelled M-E-A-T-A.
What? Sorry? M-E...
E-A-T-A. Meter.
No,
What you said?
That's meat, you f***ing thick cunt.
You said meter.
You're a...
You said
I
meter.
can't read it right, and I'm telling you how to
Come on.
write me.
Harry, we need another 8x4.
What, that?
Yeah, it's that in front of my van on the pile. Nice straight one. Did you
Yeah,
get...
right here. Brand new bit.
You're having a laugh, ain't you? We just took that out. You alright with that? You work your magic on that, Aaron?
Titanic's reimbursed itself.
The joys of having Harry on site, eh, Aaron? Right, so as mentioned, we are continuing what the previous builders have done down that end of the building. To be real, I don't think it's correct and how it should be, but basically plasterboard on the outside, installation, which is 80mm, then we've got a counter batten and feather edge, but they've put these in and they're not really deep enough. So what we're gonna have to do is extend them, put all of our windows in and then cover it all off with picture frame with all oak and stuff. But that is why we're doing it, because there's so many windows which have all been done. It's gonna cost the client a fortune if we start messing about taking all of them out. So yeah, we're just dealing with it and we get over it. It still look good. So when we fit all the windows, it'll all be good. As you've just seen, we've removed the old uprights installed by previous builders. It's now time for us to remove the large kink out of the external wall and rebuild. This will now run through parallel with our new gable end, helping us achieve a nice straight tiled verge when we come to doing the roof works. So now we've got the end of our barn running parallel with the gable end, it's time to do the same procedure as what we did previously, mortise and tenons with a bit of glue and timber locks through the top, making sure that this is fully secure. Okay, so going back to the kiosk. So we've managed to get the concrete installed. So the next plan of action is a 9-inch retaining wall around the outside of this. So we're gonna have a 4-inch block wall with faced up brickwork so it looks nice. And then the big kiosk is gonna sit over top of all of these ducts. So these 2 ducts, one for the garage, one for the main house. These we've put in spare in case they have any air source heat pumps or anything like that, but they have got draw cords in from there to there so that if they are used, it's easy to fish the cables through. So the next stage, like say brickwork, kiosk, then UK Power Networks can come out, use their ducting to give us some power. It's been an incredibly busy, fun and downright crazy week working at the barn. Now it's time to take a moment, sit back and enjoy the beauty of what we've just created. Okay, so as you can see, another 2 weeks have flown by and a lot of progress has been done. So we had the help of LAC Carpentry helping us get this roof installed, which let me tell you, there was a lot of head scratching, but we managed to do it, as well as installing all the stud work on the ground floor. Trying to get that all worked out into a wonky barn wasn't fun, but we have a hell of a lot more work to do, so stay tuned, hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one. Do you know how we're going to get it out? I think it's going to be good fun.
I don't think I've got the depth on that.
No.